I have been playing video games since I was in 2nd grade, and I am now in my 20s. I was about 8, meaning I've spent the last 12 years of my life pouring a decent chunk of time into many different video games, ranging from first-person shooters all the way to games where you jump over spikes. With what I believe is roughly 10,000 hours worth of video game playthroughs, I have decided to make a list of my favorite games of all time, and I would like to share this list with you. For those of you who are new to this channel, I go by Vesper, but my real name is Jack. I recently took it upon myself to devote a lot of my free time to streaming. If you enjoy this video and feel like checking out my stream, the link is in the description of this video. Thank you in advance to anyone who does so, and now let's get back to the main point of this video. Throughout the video, I will go through the 10 games I deem my most favorite as well as some honorable mentions. Without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Now I feel like I'm going to get a lot of backlash for putting this game so high. For some of you, this game is probably a top 5 or even a top 3 or even a top 1 game, but for me personally, it just fits at the number 10 spot. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game. I actually really like this game. It's just that I like my other games on this list a lot more. First off, the story is nothing short of a masterpiece. 50 hours worth of Arthur and his gang getting in trouble, whether it's with the O'Driscolls or Leviticus Cornwall or being trapped on Guarma. The story in this game never failed to amaze me to the point where I spent 4 hours straight on the final chapter simply because I wanted to know how it is all going to end. The vast open world this game provides, along with the many side quests and secrets to find, kept me busy for about 101 hours. And the beauty of this game, which is something most of these games share, is its replayability. This is a game that you can complete and then come back to a year later and you basically forget everything that's going to happen. The game is so long that it's not physically possible for you to remember every single detail unless you have a superhuman memory. So I beat this game back in March. I can come back here next March, replay it, and re-enjoy the entire game, which is something I plan on doing. Now this game is very special to me. It's something I played back in 2021 with someone who was special to me at the time. The amount of effort put into the world building and story for a game that is less than 20 hours long is mind-boggling. The plethora of different places this game takes you and the amount of different playstyles it puts you through would never leave you bored with this game. I mean, you go from levels where you're ice skating to levels where you're traversing through a beehive. The creators of this game got asked how many different level designs they want, and their answer was yes. Besides that, there's not much else to say. Each level had something different to expect with very fun and non-repetitive gameplay, and it was genuinely a joy to play. Dying Light is also a game I hold very closely to my heart. With over 300 hours in this game, I have made memories with my current friends, past friends, and most importantly, my brother. The simple thought of this game brings back waves of nostalgia from past summers of me and my bro, or me and my friends roaming the streets of Haran, slaying zombies and screaming in terror as we run away from volatiles. I'll probably end up saying this a lot, but this game is nothing short of perfection. The mix of a suspenseful story of a young man who is infected, along with the open world sandbox, is what makes this game so fun. And I'm so happy that I had the ability to make so many memories with this game. Unfortunately, its sequel did not live up to the same hype as the first game did in my opinion, but I do have high hopes for the third game. Stellar Blade is an interesting one. It was my first Souls-like game, and I played it recently in the summer. I had some time off from school and I decided not to work, so my evenings consisted of grinding this game for about 2 weeks straight. Now before playing this game, I was in a bit of what I would call a video game slump. I either felt like I was playing too much or that I was playing the same games over and over again. And now, although being in a video game slump isn't a bad thing and I maybe should have gone outside more, this game for the most part got me out of that slump. Playing this game as someone who never tried more than an hour of Elden Ring before refunding it, or any other Souls game before that, was refreshing. The whole combat system that these Souls-like games have was something I was new to, and after giving it a fair shot and learning the system, Souls and Souls-like games have been some of the most fun games for me to play. This game had amazing combat, music, and beautiful cinematics. Being able to wake up knowing my evening would be filled with adventures in the world of Stellar Blade was something to look forward to. Now there are other reasons I like this game, but those are the main reasons. Let's move on. As someone who originally played God of War 2018 on the PS5, I was stoked when I heard about this game, and it did not disappoint. Everything that was good about God of War 2018 was 10 times better in Ragnarok. The sheer amount of substance this game has is amazing. I never once asked myself what else is there to do until I nearly 100%ed the game. And even after that, I went back right away and started a New Game Plus to do it all over again. I never did end up finishing that New Game Plus because when it was announced that it was coming to PC, I wanted to wait and save it so I could re-experience it on a better platform. And now, I already have another 30 hours logged into the game, re-exploring and rediscovering all of the hidden treasure within the 9 realms. I believe this game is truly one of a kind when it comes to open world games, and not to mention, having the Souls-like combat system is a cherry on top. Speaking of Souls-like games, let's move on to number 5. Now initially, when Black Myth Wukong first dropped and had over 2 million live players, I did not want to buy into the hype. I also didn't want to buy into the hype of Warzone back in 2020, but ended up putting 250 hours into it. You see what I'm getting at? Now right after finishing Stellar Blade, I was on a Souls-like high. The rush of fighting a boss over and over again until you finally best it in combat was something I needed more of. And having just recently released and having an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam, this game seemed like the perfect choice. And man, what a fucking game. From the very beginning to the very end, this game had me in complete awe. Every boss fight was something completely unexpected. The rush of entering one unbeknownst to what awaits was invigorating. I had a hell of a time playing this game, and it's honestly the reason I really like the Souls games at the moment. To be honest, Stellar Blade is what got me started, but Black Myth Wukong is what really got me going. I'm super excited to see if they announce a DLC for this game because I'll be ready for it. The Resident Evil 4 Remake. Not the original game, the remake. I find this game so incredible that I actually made a video essay basically just glazing this game. But I deleted it for reasons I honestly don't have. I have played all of the Resident Evil remakes so far, and I can say that this is by far the best one. Not only do we get to play as the GOAT Leon, but I really just fell in love with the story and where it takes place. From starting in a village to traversing through a castle to landing on an island, the 3 maps were so big that you'd think you're playing an open world game. Not to mention, I was able to replay this game over and over again, exploring new areas I missed the first time, fighting bosses I was too scared to fight the first time or missed. This is a game that, although has a pretty linear story, encourages the player to look around and explore a bit. If you want to create a game with a linear story with hints of open worldness, as I'll call it, then this is how you do it. When I think of Doom Eternal, I think of how this game made me genuinely happy, which may sound kinda weird because the whole point of video games is to enjoy them, and being able to enjoy something makes you happy, right? But it's a little bit different with this game. Let me explain. Actually, before I do that, let's get some context. I originally played Doom 2016 back in 2018, and I thought it was a decent game, but nothing special. For whatever reason, when Doom Eternal was announced, I was hyped beyond all belief. I mean, to this day, Doom Eternal might be the game I was the most hyped about ever. It looked like such an upgrade from its predecessor, and I could not wait to get my hands on it. And the minute I did, I was not disappointed. To this day, Doom Eternal might be the only game to have ever fully met my expectations. There honestly is not one bad thing I can say about this game. So when it takes less than 15 hours to beat the game that you were hyped for over 6 months, you are left with a bittersweet taste in your mouth. Or at least I was personally. Yeah, I was happy to beat the game, but now what? And also, you have to keep in mind, we're in the midst of lockdown, so there wasn't much else to do. I could go back to an older game or play something with my friends, but I just felt empty inside. 6 months hyping myself up for a game that only took a week to beat. So after a week, I finally decided to start a new save, but was worried I wouldn't enjoy it as much because of just beating it the week prior. But the euphoria I felt the minute I was back in the game was unreal. I was genuinely so happy to simply be back playing this game. There's one other game on this list that made me feel this way, and I'm wondering if you guys can figure out which game that is.
I couldn't wait for you to come and clear the cupboard.
Cyberpunk 2077. This is genuinely one of the greatest games I have ever played in my life. With 150 hours on Xbox, 100 plus on PlayStation, and over 400 hours on PC. Alright, I'm just kidding. That is fucking absurd. I first had the opportunity to play Cyberpunk last year during Christmas break. I loaded up the game, created my custom character, and chose to be a street kid in my first playthrough. I enjoyed playing through the introduction, learning a little about myself and Jackie and the world we live in. From shooting up an apartment to storming Arasaka Tower in the first 4 hours of the game, I was having the time of my life. But that was only the beginning. I had no idea that I was about to witness what absolute peak single-player open-world gaming looked like. Night City City is one of the most ambitious open world maps I have been fortunate enough to set foot in. Now, although a lot of buildings aren't accessible and only there for aesthetics, I had no trouble becoming completely immersed into this game. You could say the immersion was breathtaking.
You're breathtaking!
Aesthetics aside, the amount of content this game provided off-rip was incredible. A main story with several different ways to play through it, multiple other quest lines revolving around different characters, a whole DLC quest line 1 year later, which was perfect by the way. The amount of emotion this game got out of me, both happy and sad, is the reason it is damn near my favorite game of all time. Now I like to wait at least 6 months to a year before replaying a game to kind of forget everything and be able to re-experience it all. And I am so hyped for the day that I finally start a new save and could take over Night City once more. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you my favorite game of all time. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This game is a timeless classic. It's a game you can always come back to, start a new save, or even open up an old one and just play. One of the main things I look for in a game, and I hope I've made that clear by now, is just how much substance it has, how much content it offers. And this game takes the fucking cake. After the introduction, you can start the game however you want. Want to become the Dragonborn? Continue the main quest. Want to become a mage? Travel to this college. How about an assassin? Go kill this person. The one thing I hate about modern gaming is how a lot of paths are cut off. God of War Ragnarok, for example. Very amazing open world game. You can choose to explore the 9 realms or take on the main quest, but even when exploring, you're limited to paths created by the developers, giving you the illusion of an all-inclusive free roam game. For example, in Ragnarok, if you have to go up a large mountain, you must take the path which was created. In Skyrim, take a fucking horse and walk up the side. Bethesda created a map for you to explore freely. Santa Monica Studios did the same thing with Ragnarok, but would direct you on a path you choose. There is a difference. You are truly free when exploring Skyrim. Kill whoever you want, marry whoever you want, and in the event that there is something the game is preventing you from doing, just download a mod to bypass it.
Even if you are my elder.
This is what a true immersive open world game should feel like, and this is why it's number 1 on the list. Simply talking about this game makes me want to reinstall it and start a new save. But as I said with prior games, I like to wait a bit so I can really re-experience everything. It is now time to talk about some honorable mentions. Before we do that, if you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate you a lot. Basically, this is a list of games that I love or spent an outrageous amount of time in, but it wouldn't feel right to put them on the list. And I think that's usually how honorable mentions work in the first place. Now, the 3 games I put on screen are probably games everyone watching this is familiar with. In the last 7 years, I've put 1,000 hours into each of these games, and no, I am not joking. In those 7 years, I've bonded with the same close friends I have today, playing these games after school, on the weekends, and during winter break. These games have given me very valuable memories of me and my friends, which I will still cherish for the rest of my life. I think one reason these are all honorable mentions is because none of these games are in their prime. If I was making this list back when Fortnite was in chapter 1, it probably would have made the top 10 list. If PUBG was in its early access phase, it would have made the list. Siege, I don't think Siege actually would have made the list. I honestly don't even know why I poured 1,000 hours into this game, because it fucking sucks.
Hey, bro, come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Regardless, these 3 games have kept me close with my friends and continue to do so to this day, and that's why they are honorable mentions. The Outlast Trinity. This consists of Outlast 1 and its DLC, Outlast 2, and the Outlast Trials. The nostalgia these games bring me is crazy. I honestly don't know how, but I think I was in elementary school when I first heard about Outlast. Unsupervised internet access at its finest. But I think I turned out alright. So basically, I've been a huge Outlast fan for a majority of my life. Watching multiple playthroughs on the first game, to finally getting the balls to play it myself, to being absolutely hyped when Outlast 2 was announced, to now grinding trials whenever a new event drops. And that's honestly one of the main reasons I made a video essay on Outlast 2. It gave me an excuse to replay the game and make some content with it, which was really fun to do. Now, why aren't these on the top 10 list? To be honest, Outlast 1 actually has potential, but I'd have to replay it first. I replayed Outlast 2 back in March, and it just doesn't cut it. It's a very good game, but just not good enough to make the list. Same with the Outlast Trials. It is a very well crafted game, and I'm very excited to see how it evolves, but at the moment, it just doesn't make it to the top 10 list. Honestly, after writing that, I just had the idea to replay Outlast 1 and then make a video essay on that. So maybe in a couple months, that will become a reality. Stay tuned. Long story short, Minecraft was the reason I got into gaming, but Roblox was the first game I ever played that was not one of those educational games. Mainly because it was free and my parents wouldn't buy me Minecraft. Let's just say, Roblox back in the 2010s was fucking peak, and that's all I have to say. Minecraft. Another timeless classic. The amount of time I poured into this game as a child and the amount of 2-week Minecraft phases I had with my homies makes this game a Hall of Famer. Now, I have not touched Roblox in probably over a decade, and to be honest, I am not a fan of what the game has become. For Minecraft, I really only play it when the homies want to start another 2-week phase, and that happens once a year usually. So that's why these are honorable mentions. Congratulations, you finally made it to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, I truly thank you for spending your time watching this. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing if you're interested in more video essays and other forms of content. Once again, if any of you guys enjoy watching Twitch streams and want to watch me play live, I try and stream most days of the week. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.